Hey, did you know the French Riviera is not only beaches and clear water, but it's dotted with lots of tiny villages, Provencal style, really cute. We've chosen our top 5 for you to absolutely see. So let's go today and check out Gourdon, Azur, Saint-Paul-de-Vence, Biot and Mougins. Let's get started in Gourdon. This village is just breathtaking. When you drive up to Gourdon from Grasse, the perfume capital, make sure to stop right here to take in a first impressive view of the perched village. Gourdon towers on a rocky peak 760 meters above the sea, and of course the tiny medieval place is considered one of France's most beautiful villages. Pick a clear day to come up here, because you want to enjoy this magnificent view of the coast that stretches way below you. From Place Victoria you can spot Nice, Antibes, Cannes, and the Estoril Mountains. Since, of course, this is a very touristy place, there's lots of little boutiques with local specialties, souvenirs, and artwork. Take your time strolling through the ancient roads with no cars allowed. You could have a coffee with a view, and make sure to get an ice cream at one of our favorite ice cream parlors on the French Riviera, the ancient castle Château de Gourdon. And its spectacular garden can be visited and rented for special occasions. For a picnic or some time to relax, there's a huge meadow next to the village. Take your kids or dogs and enjoy. If you like hiking, this is the place to go too. There are many trails in the mountains around Gourdon, high above the Loup Valley. You can start right at the village and either go up to get an even greater view, or walk down to Bar-sur-Loup on the Chemin du Paradis. Also, if you get lucky, you'll see a ballet of paragliders circling in the sky above Gourdon. There's a well-known launch site for paragliders on the ridge just behind the village. If you're courageous enough, you can even book a tandem flight. Well, isn't it amazing? One tiny village and so many things to do. Time to visit the next village, Azur, which is an hour away towards the east. And you should definitely discover this little village. Beautiful! There's no other way to describe Azur. While the village is pretty small, you should still plan for at least an hour or two to get the full experience of this special place. Also, wear comfortable shoes because there's steep alleyways. You have to park your car below the village, and in summer it can get very crowded. We suggest you start with a visit to the exotic garden, Jardin Exotique, on top of the village. To get there, you choose any of the small lanes leading upwards. You really can't miss it. Take your time because, again, it's steep. The garden is located on the site of the ruins of a medieval fortress. It offers one of the most spectacular views of the French Riviera. You can see all the way to the Estoril Mountains at the other end of our département. And then there's the plants, succulents and xerophytes from all continents, plus plants specifically from the Mediterranean region. Most of the information within the garden is given in French and English. The entrance fee is €4. Now you definitely deserve a break. How about a coffee at Château Azur? Take a seat on one of the balconies and enjoy the peace and quiet, and the view obviously. You can also grab a nice lunch up here, just saying. There's 2 more renowned restaurants up in the old town, the Nid d'Aigle, Eagle's Nest, and the highly acclaimed Chèvre d'Or, the Golden Goat, awarded with 2 Michelin stars and surrounded by stunning gardens filled with sculptures, fountains, and all kinds of plants. Not to mention the panoramic views once again. The Chèvre d'Or will reopen in April. By the way, all the information you're getting in this video you can also find in the description below the film. Last but not least, Azur is famous for its hiking trail called Chemin de Nietzsche. The rather short but strenuous footpath leads down to another part of the village called Azur Bord de Mer, which is situated at sea level and can be reached from Nice or Monaco by train. The German philosopher Nietzsche, who used to spend a lot of time in Nice at the end of the 19th century, is said to have finished one of his essential works during his climb up to the village. It's a good workout, you should give it a try too. Expect an hour and a half for the ascent and 45 minutes for the descent. Let's sum up what makes Es Village so special. Our next stop is Saint-Paul-de-Vence, probably the most famous village of our département, called Alpes-Maritimes, apart from Aise. Back in the day when the artists had discovered the Côte d'Azur and its special light and radiant colors, Saint-Paul-de-Vence became a hotspot for Picasso, Matisse, Chagall and the like. Some of them were regulars at the Colombe d'Or, as you can still tell when staying at this hotel. So, obviously, this village was destined for art. There's lots of art in all of the little villages. But Saint-Paul-de-Vence is truly special. There's one gallery next to the other. And it's really fun to check out the gallery windows and get inspired by the huge variety in style. If you're looking to take home a piece of art, this is definitely the place to go. Prices will vary depending on the artists, but they seem pretty reasonable to us. One of the famous artists who were fond of Saint-Paul was Marc Chagall. The Russian-born expressionist painter spent almost 20 years in the village, where he also died and was buried. When you visit his grave in the cemetery facing south just below the town walls, don't miss the Fortification Discovery Walk. Here at the foot of the ramparts, you'll learn more about the historical role of St. Paul as a military fortress and its very essence as an agricultural village. Another cool way to discover this hilltop village is by actually walking on the ramparts, with a view all the way to the sea. If you like taking pictures, you can go wild in St. Paul. When you talk St. Paul, you have to talk MAG Foundation. Some of the biggest names in the 20th century European sculpture, including Georges Braque, Joan Miró, and Alberto Giacometti, came together to help create France's most important art foundation. Having lunch or dinner in St. Paul is always a pleasure too. There are several restaurants with nice terraces within the village. The well-known Café de la Place, next to the Boule Court at the entrance to the old town, serves lunch, the plat du jour, for €13.50. And here's your checklist for Saint-Paul-de-Vence. Time to head over to Biot, which is probably the most down-to-earth place among the 5 villages we're showing you today. Biot, yet another beautiful medieval hilltop village, is famous for its glass blowers. Check out at least one of the great workshops for glass art at the foot of the village. There's the traditional Verrerie de Biot, famous for its bubbly designs, as well as the Centre d'Art du Verre Pierini, which stands for Very Diverse and Creative Glasswork. To us, Biot is the place to go to catch some true village life. We always run into friends, and there are public social events on the regular in Biot. In early summer, there's the renowned classical music festival, Heures Musicales de Biot, taking place in the old church with its exceptional acoustic. If you ever happen to be on the French Riviera for summer solstice, come to Biot. The 21st of June in France is the day of the so-called Fête de la Musique, and there's music played by the citizens literally everywhere. Here in Biot, you can listen to different bands on the many cute little squares all over the village and in the amphitheater until late at night. For the first time in almost a decade, the town's going to celebrate its famous Templar Festival this spring. Whenever you come to Biot, take your time to stroll through the little alleys with no cars in the old town. There's plants and sitting areas everywhere, which makes this place so welcoming. Food-wise, you can't go wrong with the Restaurant des Arcades, a true institution in Biot. When we came along, they were shooting a film right in front of it. Our favorites in Biot are... And now, let's head to our final destination for today, to Mougins. Why did we pick Mougins, which is probably a little less known than some of the other villages we're showing you today? Well, Mougins has its own charm. and some very specific features that we'd like to point out to you. So let's go and have a look. Culinary art and art in the broader sense of the word takes center stage in Mougins. It's yet another perched village dating back to the Middle Ages and sought after to live at, close to Cannes and the sea, but surrounded by nature with easy access to the Alps in the hinterland. You're going to love it for its cute little alleys, and if you're into food, you've found your place. Once a year, the old town becomes an open-air cooking studio during the festival Les Étoiles de Mougins. It all goes back to the great chef Roger Verger, whose Michelin-starred restaurant Moulins de Mougins made the village famous in the second half of the last century. Well, him and someone else actually. Do you know who this guy is? That's Picasso, and he's actually chosen to live in Mougins at the end of his life. Pablo Picasso, who died exactly 50 years ago, is a major reason as to why art still plays a huge role in Mougins today. You'll find galleries and works of art scattered all over the village. Plus, there's the Center of Photography, dedicated to still and moving images, and the impressive Musée d'Art Classique de Mougins. The museum displays within the same space ancient, neoclassical, modern and contemporary art in order to highlight the considerable influence of the ancient world on the great artists from Peter Paul Rubens to Damien Hirst. The private museum holds remarkable artifacts from ancient Egypt, Greece and Rome that interact with drawings, paintings and sculptures by Pablo Picasso, Edgar Degas, or pop artists Andy Warhol and Roy Lichtenstein, to name just a few. But back to the culinary art. All year round, people come to the village to enjoy a great meal. There's typical small Mediterranean restaurants all over the old town, with inviting terraces that get crowded even in the cold season. The chic l'amandier, almond tree in English, has become the top dog lately. People appreciate its huge patio in the summer. And even more than that, the lunch on offer Monday through Saturday. For 27 euros, you'll get a main course, a glass of wine, and a café gourmand, which is an espresso with little samples of desserts on the side.
Look how beautiful this property is. But hey, look at the price too. It's really pardonné, like the French would say.
Right, if you've fallen in love with Mougins, as we sure have, you'll find several real estate agents right in the old town. Just be prepared to dig a little deeper into your pocket. And here are the highlights of Mougins.
This was our top 5.
Which village did you like best?
Leave us a comment.
Actually, it wasn't easy for Anya and me to limit ourselves to just 5 villages. We'll definitely have to show you more of these beautiful places some other time. If you liked our video, why don't you subscribe to our channel? And you'll get to see many more stories from the French Riviera.